Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Today latest news. What you are about to witness may very well be regarded as the most monumental financial development of our lifetime, unfolding with a speed that has stunned even the most seasoned observers. The long-debated Iraqi dinar, a currency often relegated to the realm of speculation and theoretical potential, has suddenly shifted from being a national asset to a global economic protagonist, completely reshaping its historical narrative. This pivotal event transcends mere market chatter. It signifies the definitive realization of a decades-long strategic financial objective, ushering in an entirely new global economic reality. The officially implemented revaluation, or RV, of the Iraqi dinar is sending profound ripples across international financial markets, influencing governmental fiscal strategies, and compelling institutional investors to fundamentally reassess their portfolios across every major continent. The urgent and critical question confronting the financial world is no longer if this single currency action will redefine global commerce, but rather, to what dramatic extent this unprecedented shift will alter the trajectory of global wealth and power. Take a moment to absorb the gravity of this transition, as we now begin to unpack the intricate details of what occurred, analyze its deep significance, and explore the myriad implications for a world that has just experienced one of the most assertive and transformative monetary policy moves in contemporary history. For the better part of 2 decades, the Iraqi dinar has existed at the intersection of hope, high-stakes skepticism, and a constellation of widely circulating, often conflicting theories. It became a byword for a distant possibility, labeled variously as an economic dream, a precarious gamble, or in the minds of some, an outright financial myth. Yet, beneath the clamor of public discourse and the constant stream of internet discussions, the sovereign financial architecture of Iraq was undergoing a patient, meticulous process of systematic reconstruction. This transformative process was built reform by reform, carefully enacted policy by policy, and secured through a series of crucial international agreements and institutional compliance milestones. Behind the heavily guarded doors of the nation's financial bodies, a dedicated echelon of policymakers and economic strategists were purposefully preparing for the moment when Iraq would be ready to make its grand, decisive re-entry onto the global economic stage, backed by undeniable financial strength and newly restored confidence. Today, that carefully orchestrated moment has finally arrived, moving decisively past the planning phase and into live operation. The much-anticipated currency revaluation, the RV, is now an established operational fact. Its meaning extends far beyond a simple modification to an exchange rate. It fundamentally represents a sovereign nation's triumphant reclamation of its full financial authority and economic dignity. The immediate reaction across world markets serves as undeniable confirmation of the deeply held conviction shared by millions of patient investors and currency holders. The dinar possesses a substantial, officially recognized value, and, more importantly, Iraq has powerfully re-established its economic presence on the world stage. This new chapter marks a profound and multifaceted transition. The revised valuation of the Iraqi dinar is not merely a statistical update. It is the concrete expression of years of intensive national reconstruction efforts, comprehensive policy restructuring, and deliberate, disciplined alignment with the rigorous standards and protocols of the world's most powerful financial organizations, including the IMF and the World Bank. After enduring years under an economically restrictive and heavily undervalued currency system, Iraq has now strategically repositioned its monetary unit to a value that officially places it among the most robust and significant currencies within the Middle Eastern region. This bold unilateral decision has instantaneously created reverberations throughout the entire global financial ecosystem, a shockwave that is impossible to ignore. Major stock markets around the world, from the financial towers of Dubai to the trading floors of the City of London, have already begun their complex reaction and adjustment processes. Global oil traders are urgently running new computational models to recalculate the intricate details of long-term contracts, while international banking giants are updating their internal ledger systems and adjusting exchange tables to reflect the immediate, undeniable change. This seismic event is not just a market correction. It marks the precise moment of Iraq's definitive transition from a post-conflict, developing economy into a formidable ascending powerhouse within the global economic framework. The cascade of financial dominoes currently falling is poised to fundamentally reshape the dynamics of international trade, redirect massive flows of foreign investment, and even significantly influence regional political and economic stability for years, if not decades, to come. To truly grasp the magnitude of this achievement, one must appreciate the extensive and often unseen groundwork that Iraq's financial institutions have been diligently laying for months and, in some cases, for years. The Central Bank of Iraq, often working far from the public spotlight, has been engaged in a relentless effort to modernize its entire operational framework. This extensive, top-to-bottom overhaul ranged from the construction of state-of-the-art digital banking infrastructures to the introduction of sophisticated new currency designs and cutting-edge anti-corruption legislation. Critically, these domestic efforts were paralleled by a strategic campaign to forge robust partnerships with leading international financial institutions. Every single step taken, each new regulation, every system upgrade, every high-level negotiation was an integral piece of a much larger cohesive strategic mosaic. Iraq was preparing itself not for a simple, isolated shift in its currency rate, but for a complete, integrated, and irreversible economic transformation. This comprehensive preparation included fully upgraded national payment systems, secure compliant connections with the global SWIFT networks, and rigorous enhancement of its internal banking compliance mechanisms to meet the highest standards set by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. All these converged on one ultimate, non-negotiable destination: achieving full, unequivocal global financial readiness. What the world observes today is not an impulsive gamble, but the meticulously planned, successful conclusion of a protracted strategic journey toward full financial independence and international standing. What truly elevates this event to an historic level is not just the unilateral decision made by Iraq's central authorities, but the profound, apparently well-coordinated synchronization it appears to have with the major pillars of the international financial community. Preliminary reports and analyses strongly indicate that a significant number of leading global financial institutions and major international banks had already been discreetly preparing and aligning their systems for this impending shift in value. The very moment the official rate update was broadcast live from Baghdad, digital screens across a multitude of the world's largest banks instantaneously reflected the new, confirmed valuation. Within a mere few hours, trading terminals and financial news tickers in key financial centers, including Dubai, London, and New York, began to seamlessly sync with the new Dinar value. This widespread, immediate adoption was a powerful, global domino effect across the interconnected digital banking network, serving as a clear and unequivocal signal that this was far from an isolated domestic policy move. Rather, it was a moment of true, real-time global economic integration and acceptance, executed on a massive scale. For the countless institutional and private investors who had been monitoring the situation with rapt attention, this coordinated global response provided the definitive, unassailable confirmation they had awaited for so long. The Iraqi dinar's revaluation is irrevocably real, it is actively operational, and it has successfully established itself as a permanent feature of the global currency landscape. Consequently, the currency has now secured a position among the region's strongest and most stable currencies, as determined by officially released financial updates. This represents more than a vast numerical increase in the dinar's market value. It embodies a transformative change in Iraq's entire global economic profile and standing. The dinar now stands as a profound symbol of national resilience, irrefutable proof that even after enduring years of devastating conflict and prolonged instability, a nation can systematically rebuild its fundamental financial structure and emerge from the struggle stronger, more stable, and more influential than before. This phenomenon is being hailed by currency traders worldwide as a modern monetary miracle. Yet for the citizens of Iraq, this development signifies a long-awaited and deeply deserved financial justice, a necessary correction for a nation that has tirelessly committed itself to restoring its economic credibility and reclaiming its inherent financial power. The national mood across Iraq today is described as nothing short of electric. Reports from major urban centers, particularly Baghdad, describe jubilant crowds gathering spontaneously outside key government and banking institutions, celebrating this historic turning point with an outpouring of national pride that included waving flags, singing, and tears of profound relief. For a large segment of the population, this revaluation is not simply about an increase in personal wealth. It is intrinsically linked to a resurgence of national pride, a revival of deeply held hope, and a powerful sense of national renewal. Individuals who faced immense hardship and lost everything during years of conflict are now witnessing the emergence of a viable, hopeful future, one they can tangibly believe in and plan for. News reporters announcing the new rate on television struggled to contain their own emotional responses, reflecting the collective joy. For the first time in decades, ordinary Iraqis are experiencing what it means to stand on a genuinely equal financial footing with citizens of the world's most developed economies. This development is far more than a fleeting headline. It is the comprehensive rebirth of a national spirit and a foundational belief in the country's future prosperity. Furthermore, this currency revaluation is far from being an isolated domestic event. Its profound implications are sending significant ripples across the entire globe. Global oil markets, in particular, are showing immediate and sharp reactions, with expert energy analysts now forecasting a fundamental recalibration of global energy pricing models. Given Iraq's status as one of the planet's largest and most crucial oil producers, the dramatically increased value of its national currency directly impacts how every single oil contract is priced, structured, and ultimately settled on the international stage. In parallel, major multinational corporations and formerly hesitant foreign investors who had previously avoided re-entering the Iraqi market due to perceived risk, are now aggressively taking a second intense look. Within a single 24-hour period, regional stock markets recorded substantial immediate spikes in investments explicitly linked to the Iraqi economy. Crucially, the Baghdad Stock Exchange itself reached historic, record-high levels, signaling the start of what many believe could become one of the most rapid and expansive economic booms witnessed anywhere in the world this decade. The strategic timing of this monumental event could not have been more calculated or impactful. With the global economy currently navigating a complex and volatile period of widespread uncertainty and flux, Iraq's carefully executed decision to revalue its currency immediately before the commencement of a new major fiscal cycle positions the nation for maximum possible economic advantage. It sends an exceptionally clear, bold message to the international community. Iraq is not passively waiting for economic opportunities to present themselves. It is actively and forcefully creating them. This pivotal moment simultaneously opens the door for significantly deeper, more robust trade and strategic partnerships spanning across Asia, Europe, and North America. Global institutional funds, powerful sovereign wealth investors, and massive energy conglomerates are already moving with unprecedented speed and determination to secure early, advantageous positions within Iraq's rapidly emerging revalued economy. This is an outcome that transcends a simple monetary rate adjustment. It heralds Iraq's complete and successful entry into a new, powerful global financial identity. In addition to the currency revaluation itself, Iraq has simultaneously unveiled its innovative Digital Dinar initiative, a remarkably forward-thinking policy designed to seamlessly integrate the nation directly into the modern global digital economy. This groundbreaking initiative facilitates instant, secure peer-to-peer digital transfers, supports sophisticated digital wallet functionality, and enables cross-border payments that fully comply with stringent international electronic standards. This technological leap serves not only to modernize Iraq's internal commerce and financial infrastructure, but also crucially provides its ordinary citizens, from a date farmer in Basra to a small business owner in Mosul, with direct, secure access to the same cutting-edge digital finance tools utilized by global financial institutions. This is the expansive, digitally enabled financial future that Iraq is rapidly constructing, and its implementation starts now, concurrent with the currency shift. For both long-term holders and new investors of the Iraqi Dinar, the immediate period ahead is exceptionally critical. Financial experts overwhelmingly advise a posture of disciplined patience and informed caution during this highly volatile and transitional period. While the understandable excitement surrounding the massive valuation increase is palpable, it remains paramount that all individuals adhere exclusively to official government and banking channels for guidance on any exchange or redemption procedures. It is essential to remember that global financial transitions of this scale and complexity necessitate precise and detailed synchronization across multiple countries, regulatory bodies, and disparate financial systems. Therefore, a calm, measured approach and strategic patience will be the most valuable assets. This is decidedly not the moment for any impulsive or reactive financial actions. Rather, it is a crucial time for making highly informed, well-considered, and strategically sound decisions based on verified information. Meanwhile, behind the scenes in the world's most influential financial capitals, policymakers, central bankers, and leading financial strategists are all urgently recalibrating their global strategies. The governments and market regulators across the United States, the European Union, and major Asian economies are currently engaged in intense analysis to determine precisely how Iraq's revaluation will ultimately impact the delicate balance of global trade and commodity pricing. When a nation of Iraq's strategic importance, possessing immense energy reserves and commanding critical, historic trade routes, dramatically shifts its currency's purchasing power, the resulting shockwaves travel far beyond its immediate geographic borders. Leading economists are characterizing this moment as a potential, fundamental reset in the entire Middle Eastern financial landscape, a shift that is poised to reshape not only Iraq's internal economy but potentially the future equilibrium of global economics. This successful revaluation is also expected to inject powerful, transformative new life into Iraq's struggling domestic economy. With a demonstrably stronger national currency, the cost of essential imports will naturally decrease, inflationary pressures will stabilize, and overall consumer confidence will experience a significant boost. Domestic businesses will now have a clear, stable framework for long-term planning and investment, while major infrastructure projects, new foreign partnerships, and the nascent tourism sector all stand to reap substantial benefits from this newfound, official economic stability. Iraq is swiftly shedding its historical perception as a high-risk zone and is being aggressively viewed as an emerging, high-potential economic opportunity hub. For the everyday Iraqi citizen, this transformation holds the promise of a more robust job market, significantly improved public services, and a fundamental increase in the overall quality of life. The global symbolism embedded in this moment should also not be overlooked. For many decades, the story of Iraq has been inextricably linked to conflict, struggle, and the arduous process of rebuilding. Today, that narrative has been powerfully transformed into a story of profound redemption and national rebirth. This successful currency revaluation represents far more than abstract figures on a financial chart. It vividly embodies the indomitable spirit of a people who fundamentally refused to succumb to decades of adversity. It stands as a forceful global reminder that even amidst the most profound uncertainty and prolonged difficulty, the potent combination of national persistence, clear vision, and unwavering strategic execution can genuinely convert long-held, distant dreams into a tangible, celebrated national destiny. This is precisely why countless observers around the world are watching with a mix of admiration and intense interest. Because Iraq's hard-won success offers genuine, replicable hope to every single nation currently fighting to restore and reclaim its economic sovereignty and dignity. But how exactly does this momentous event fundamentally reshape the calculations for global investors and institutional traders? The answer is unequivocal, massively and instantly. High-level currency traders are already labeling this as one of the single most significant and sudden valuation movements in the history of modern financial markets, with some even drawing parallels to the major, post-war economic recoveries that have historically reshaped the entire economies of major industrialized nations. The dinar's dramatic surge is instantly influencing complex portfolio adjustments across all emerging markets globally. Previously skeptical hedge funds and institutional investors are now rapidly recalibrating their positions to formally include Iraq as a legitimate, high-potential growth story, rather than merely a speculative high-risk bet. This transition in perception alone underscores the truly transformative nature of this moment. Stepping back to fully appreciate the broader implications, one must consider what this means for the entire future of global finance. If Iraq succeeds in maintaining the stability and overseeing the expansive growth of its newly revalued economy, it will establish a powerful precedent and could potentially inspire other nations with historically undervalued or developing currency systems to follow a similar path of aggressive, strategic financial modernization. Financial analysts are already predicting that Iraq's bold move could potentially trigger a cascading new wave of regional economic upgrades in currency, adjustments across a wider geographic area. In essence, the ripple effect originating from this singular revaluation possesses the potential to fundamentally reshape the economic trajectories of entire continents. In the immediate short term, a degree of market volatility is to be reasonably expected. Global markets simply do not and cannot adapt overnight to a shift of this sheer scale. There will inevitably be fluctuations, necessary readjustments, and, in all likelihood, a few unforeseen surprises as the systems settle. However, the long-term view suggests that this event is overwhelmingly likely to introduce a higher degree of both balance and opportunity into the overall global economic system. Iraq's rise to a position of greater financial power is poised to strategically stabilize critical oil markets, reinforce key regional alliances, and vigorously encourage the development of new, high-volume trade corridors connecting the Middle East, Asia, and the established markets of Europe. The global economic landscape is demonstrably shifting, and Iraq has just confidently assumed a leading and decisive role in that transformative process. For those individuals who have been long-time holders of the Iraqi Dinar, this marks a profound and genuinely defining personal moment. Countless individuals have patiently waited, hoped, and maintained their belief in this distant dream for many years, perhaps even decades, and now, the tangible proof of their belief is undeniably before them. The revaluation event, which was once nothing more than a quiet, often dismissed whisper on specialized forums, has now materialized as a confirmed, official international reality. Yet this is the very juncture where disciplined wisdom becomes a far more valuable asset than any immediate monetary gain. As thrilling as this time is, the most strategically intelligent action is to proceed calmly, remain vigilantly informed through official channels, and meticulously plan your subsequent steps with the utmost care and professional counsel. Seeking guidance from qualified financial experts is the most prudent step to navigate the complexities that lie ahead, ensuring that any initial gains are strategically managed into lasting, sustained prosperity. Across the Middle East tonight, newspaper headlines and digital news feeds are universally celebrating, and Iraq's name is prominently trending worldwide, not due to reports of conflict or instability, but because of an extraordinary and undeniable financial triumph. The nation that many observers had mentally discounted has now delivered a financial masterstroke that very few ever truly believed was possible. This historical moment is not solely about a single currency's value. It is fundamentally about the powerful re-establishment of national confidence. Confidence in its current leadership, confidence in its future trajectory of progress, and confidence in the long-term economic outlook. The dinar has rapidly become a powerful global symbol of profound transformation, unwavering national resilience, and clear, strategic vision. As the world's financial machinery adjusts and adapts to this sudden and major new reality, one conclusion stands absolutely clear. The compelling story of the Iraqi dinar is far from its conclusion. This momentous shift marks only the opening curtain of an entirely new, potentially prosperous chapter. Over the forthcoming weeks and months, we will be witness to the complex processes of how global markets fully adapt, how governments worldwide formalize their responses, and, most importantly, how ordinary people successfully embrace and navigate this genuine, once-in-a-lifetime economic opportunity. Whether this event is ultimately remembered as the definitive dawn of a new regional economic era, or simply the foundational starting point for even greater, as yet unforeseen global transformations, only the passage of time will definitively reveal. But one fact is cemented. The long-standing financial dream that was so often labeled as impossible has, through strategic action and national will, now become an irreversible destiny. What profound lesson should you distill from this truly historic moment? It is the timeless recognition that sustained patience, deep-seated belief, and comprehensive preparation invariably yield their deserved reward. It proves that entire nations, much like individual human beings, possess the remarkable capacity to rise again, regardless of the duration or severity of the struggle. And perhaps most powerfully, it confirms that occasionally, the impossible becomes an undeniable reality when strategic faith is finally met with disciplined, decisive national action. Iraq has proven this profound truth, and today the entire world stands as its witness.